We're going to review the process now that we've just gone through of reconstructing arguments and analyzing arguments. Step one, you got to figure out if the passage really contains an argument. Didn't talk a lot about this. Maybe I didn't even mention it earlier on in the lectures, but if you're reading one of Shakespeare's poem sonnets, or sometimes a play or a work, a novel, or even an article in the newspaper about some events that are occurring, not all those passages have arguments. The only passages and the only essays and the only books that have arguments are the ones that are intended to prove a certain or give reason for a certain position, a certain point. So first figure out, is it something that is there an argument there to be had? The next step, if there is an argument, is to figure out what the point of the argument is. What is the conclusion of the argument? Where is the author going with this? What does he, she, it want you to walk away believing? Next step, now that you've decided what the conclusion is, figure out what the premises are. And one thing I didn't mention earlier, sometimes we end up in a loop between steps 3 and step 2. We start looking at the premises in a complex argument, a complicated argument, maybe sometimes even a simple one, and then we decide, well, gee, that really wasn't the conclusion that the guy being a gender neutral term, that the guy was trying to advance, was trying to defend, at which point you kind of recycle back into step 2 and you identify a different conclusion, and then reshuffle the deck, go back to step 3 and try to figure out what the premises are. And step 4, once you're happy that you have the premises and the conclusions and the conclusion, you want to add the assumptions that need to make that go along with the principle of faith, of charity. You want to try to make it the best argument you can in favor of whatever conclusion is being presented. And even in figuring out whether the person who presented the argument was right or wrong, we want to make sure that the principles that we add are faithful to the original author. Now, I could probably talk for hours about this, but that's not going to help you analyze and reconstruct and evaluate arguments. So what we're going to have to do is do a few exercises, and the exercises are going to continue through the rest of the course.